So recently this fall I ran a full marathon. It was the Celebration Half Marathon in Orlando. The last time I ran a marathon was actually in Orlando. It was Disney, and I did a 3 hour and 24-minute marathon. So my goal was to run a Boston Qualifier. I'm 45 years old, so the Boston Qualifier, you have to run under 3:15 with a buffer, so that put me around a 3:10. So I chose Celebration Half Marathon. It happened in January, on January 28th. Usually we have really good weather here in Florida during that time of the year. It can range from anywhere from the 40s, maybe mid 30s in the morning, to maybe into the 60s. So I chose this course because it's straight flat. A lot of people run this race for a Boston Qualifier, and it consists of really 2 loops. It is a half marathon also, and if you're running the full marathon, you just keep going, you just loop it again. So getting ready for this marathon, I followed the Pete Fitzinger, I believe that's how you say his name, I'm not exactly sure, but I bought his book, read his book, it was phenomenal. But I followed his plan where you really go up to around 60-70 miles a week. I have a full-time job, I'm a father, so it's hard to get out and to get a lot of miles in. So a lot of my training was early in the morning, 4 o'clock, I'm up, I'm out. And really, I'm gonna make a separate video just on my training, because there was a lot that went into that. There was a lot that I learned in that. My average miles before the marathon training was around 20 to 30 miles a week. And once marathon training happened, I didn't go a week where I really didn't hit under 50 miles. And I really peaked out around 65-70 miles an hour, 65-70 miles per week. So going into this marathon, first off, it was really set up well. It's a really pretty area. Celebration was originally built by Disney. They do not own it anymore, but you could kind of see the old Disney feel to everything. It's a very pretty area, very well maintained. Not a whole lot of parking, so for us, we actually stayed at a hotel close by, and then my wife actually just dropped me off, and then she went and found the spot while I warmed up. But leading into this marathon, I'll also go over nutrition in maybe another video, but I really followed a low carb during 7 days out, a low carb. And when I got to about 3 days out, I went very high carb. I got close to 500 grams of carbs per day to help me with my fueling. I thought I would feel great, but I really felt sluggish leading into the marathon. But on marathon day, it did not hold me back. I felt very good. Also, fueling in the marathon, I was taking gels, the goo gels, the Rocketane, I believe is how you say it. But I took a total of 6 gels with me. I was trying to do every 4 miles, but gels for me get really heavy on my stomach, so I have to kind of watch how many gels I put in. Before the race, I try to drink a lot of Gatorade, a lot of salt intake, try to get my electrolytes as high as they can go, try to get my carb intake as high as I possibly can, trying to fuel the machine. So leading into the race, actually before the race, the packet pickup was really just lackluster. It was real small. The company putting on the marathon was actually a local company here from my area, so it was actually nice to see some familiar faces, and they recognized me as well. So it was just real small, just two, 3 little tents, and that was it. But again, the whole town of Celebration was really nice. We got to eat at a pizza place right close by before the race. So everything you need is right there. It's just a really beautiful area. So let's go into race day. So again, it was a half marathon and a full marathon, just put into one. It was 2 loops, straight flat course. Let's go into it. Starting off the race, between miles 1 through 6, I was trying to hold back my pace. I was finding at times my pace getting a little heavy, and I would slow it down. I was really keeping my pace between 7:15 and 7:20, just trying to hold steady. Actually ran into somebody I know during the race that was in the half marathon, and it was so difficult not to take off with them, just to hold back, just to keep my pace under what, or a little bit over where it really needed to be. In the last full marathon I did, I really wrecked myself the first half of the race. And I was really concentrating on running a very smart race and a very, not even pace, but a good negative split marathon. So between miles 1 and 6, everything was smooth. A little bit of crowd support. I did see my wife around mile 2 or 3, right around in there. And it was nice to see her. I jumped up on the curb, gave her a high five, and I jumped back in into a really nice running group. It was hard to tell who was actually running the marathon and who was running the half marathon without me looking down at bibs. But it was so difficult, to do that, especially when you're concentrating on your time and you're just trying to go. So miles 1 through 6 was great. There was one water station. I took one gel at mile 4 and we were rocking and rolling. Between mile 6 and 13, I picked up my pace a little bit. I started to dip into about 7:05 to 7:12 range. And from here, I actually felt really good. There was a lot of camaraderie at that point of the race. It just felt like everybody was cheering. The people around me were getting amped up. People around me were picking up their pace. Basically because a lot of them were running a half marathon. But I recognized a few faces that I was running with. I was actually passing as they were doing the half marathon. So at this point of the race, I felt really good. I felt solid. I had all my gels. My stomach felt good. I felt like I held back enough to kind of push my pace a little bit further. So I really did feel good. Right before the half marathon though, you actually run through a boardwalk. And this boardwalk is not an easy boardwalk to run. It is not a straight line. It's not something nice and wide like you would see at a theme park. No, this was a very narrow boardwalk that zigzagged back and forth for about a mile. And the whole time it was back, forth, real narrow. That took a lot out of me, and that was at mile 12. So when I knew in the back of my head, okay, I'm gonna see this again, and it's gonna be later in the race. So I just have to be prepared mentally for this because it really took a lot out of me. But after I got past that boardwalk, we were on to the really to the half marathon part of the race. I'm not exactly sure what I ran my half marathon in. I'll put it up on the screen. But at this point, I felt really good. Just the only downer was I was in a really good group of people running. And this happens a lot at a double loop, half marathon, full marathon race. When it split off for the half marathon to go one way and the marathon to go one way, I was by myself. There was one guy in front of me, and that was it. A lot of guys went right, and it took some steam out of my sail because I was really pumped up. I was going with a good crowd, and all the cheering too went with it, and then I went straight. So it was tough at that break off to mentally dial it back in and to keep my pace going. From miles 13 to 20, it got rough because the straightaway around mile 15 just got really lonely. There was nobody around. There was no cheering. There was one guy in front of me, and I was trying to keep up with him, but he was pulling away from me. It just, for a minute or for a little bit, it felt like I was just in a training run because all the camaraderie, all the other runners were gone. They were at the half marathon. They were going there to running their PRs in the half marathon. So it was mentally, it was tough to really keep charging forward. I even passed a lady that was walking by me holding groceries, so it got a little weird. But I was able just to hang in there and try to push myself to that mile 20. And my pace ranged from 7:15 and it dipped all the way to 8 minutes, just because of I had that feeling of just the race energy just kind of getting sucked out of me at the half marathon. It felt my own fault, but it did happen. I had to redial myself and keep charging forward. Also on this day, this was also a record high for Orlando for January. We got up to nearly 86 degrees on this day. So race morning start of the race was great. Like, the weather felt great. But that later stages of the race, it really got hot. It got very hot. It got to about 86 degrees. I was trying to take all my gels. I hit every water station. They had water stations about every 3.5 miles. And they were very good. Gatorade, everybody. But it did get very hot, and it did start to affect me. When I got to mile 20, we were in a second loop going around a stadium, and there was a lot of kids helping. It was like high school kids handing out waters and Gatorades. And because there was not a lot of marathoners hitting, in this, at least where I was at this part of the race, they weren't paying attention. So as I was running by them, not one person looked at me. So I just started yelling, water, 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 Gatorade, water, water. Finally, a girl took a water, ran up to my pace and handed it to me. And I thought that was awesome. I mean, these are high school kids. I get it. I would have been daydreaming too, but even though there was not a whole lot of runners at this point of the race, they still tried their best to get you the hydration that you needed. So back to the race, mile 20 to, let's say, mile 20 to 24, I started to loop some of the walkers, and that actually motivated me to like keep going, because now I started to pass people that were walking the half marathon, but seemed like a lot of them were yelling, all right, way to go, look at you, keep charging, man, you're fast, look at that guy in the orange, oh man, you're rocking it. Like, that's the motivation I needed, and it propelled me during those later miles of the race. Again, part 2 of that boardwalk was tough. That's where it really got me. My pace really slowed. The zigzagging, it was tough. That part of the race was tough. I wasn't mentally prepared for this boardwalk. I heard about it, but I wasn't ready for it. My legs felt good. Overall, my body felt good. I felt like I was well prepared for this. I just could not keep my pace on this boardwalk doing zigzags. So if you ever do this race, you're gonna at least have 2 miles of boardwalk. So you need to be well prepared for a lot of turns and this boardwalk. I got passed on it. I got passed by a guy older than me. And he was rocking it. So it could be done. Like, people know this course, and you can take advantage of it if that's your thing. If it takes your mind off of not running a straight line, if you like doing loops, zags, whatever. But coming off this, I felt great. Leading into the home stretch, I know I lost my shot at Boston Qualifier. Really right before that boardwalk, my pace just dipped too much, and I just couldn't regain it. I tried my best, but I just could not get it. I actually saw my wife at mile, I was around 25 and a half, and even though she knew, because she was following, that I didn't have my Boston Qualifier, she did know I had a PR that day. And I even said to her as I was running by her, I got a PR. So I finished off this race. You finish right in the town of Celebration, right in the main street. A lot of people there on that finishing line. A lot of cheering, a lot of way to go. And I came across at 3:19:55. I was 4 minutes off my Boston. But that's all right. It gives me another opportunity this fall to attack another one. I really feel that I could do a lot more later stages of running in my training. Say, if I'm going for a 16, 17, 18 mile run, I need to work my way up with a nice even average pace into about 10 miles, then turn it on and run a negative split the rest of the way. I need to practice the later stages of my runs getting faster, and also keeping up with my weight training. I think that plays a big part in it. But definitely a lot of late stage running in my training is what I really need to focus on to attack my next marathon. Hopefully a Boston Qualifier. But post party was really cool. It was good. It was a nice post party. They had the whole little town shut down. They had free beer, free pizza, free all the restaurants that's in there, and then the town of Celebration was giving out free food. So it was really nice. There was a lot of people hanging out. They had people giving massages. I actually tried to get a massage. The guy dug into my calf, and instantly when he dug into my calf, I about jumped up off the table onto the ground. Like, my calves were so tight, I just couldn't I couldn't handle any pressure on them. Also, I was super dehydrated after this race just because it was so hot. But after a lot of water, I finally had a nice cold beer. I got my medal, earned my medal. It says Celebration, Florida, Town of Celebration Marathon, January 25th, 2026. It's actually a really nice medal. I like the gold medal. It looks really cool. So yeah, there you have it. It's a good race. I would definitely do it again. It is very flat. It's very nice. And I think if the weather too was our average 30-degree weather, or not 30-degree, 40-degree to 50-degree weather, this could have been a little bit better. Would have knocked off 4 minutes? Oh no. But there's things in my training that I can change to correct that. And I'm going to do another video too about my training leading into this marathon. So hopefully that can help you. But I had a really good time. You know, my wife was super encouraging during this run. You know, I enjoyed seeing her every part of the way. The marathon, the people working the marathon were very friendly. A lot of people out there cheering and supporting. It was just that double loop. Once you get past the half marathon, that some of that energy gets drained out. And I'm gonna do another marathon, and it's gonna be a double loop. So I have to be prepared for that to happen. So anyways, keep charging on. Hopefully you enjoyed the story, but yeah, the journey to sub 3:15 Boston qualifier continues. So Celebration half marathon. Woo! Keep charging on.